Hi, my name's Elva and this is my Foundation Year Unit 2 project. This unit we were tasked with producing a body of work in line with the national competition set by Creative Commons, a global organisation who aim to improve the communities we live in, helping us transform the wider world. The open brief enabled us to create work we are passionate about and that could help make a positive difference in the world, no matter how big or small. We began by visiting our local art gallery First Sight and explored collecting primary research through observation, which you can see through these observational drawings taken on the high street. I looked into two possible ideas for this project, one being the plastic waste crisis and its devastating effects on our planet, the other being the lesbian experience, something I have personal experience in and I believe should be brought to people's attention. I took part in workshops where we explored the possibilities of dyeing fabrics with natural ingredients, working with words where we created art based on words that related to one of our ideas, and firing clay using the raku firing process. Communication with my tutor led me to refine my preferred idea, the lesbian experience. Instead, I began to study how different sexualities and their relationships experience connection. I took inspiration from my own experiences, as well as primary research like interviewing my peers, and secondary research like researching artists such as Tracy Emin and Joan E. Byron. I explored the motif of hands through sculpture and risograph to relay the idea of connection between partners through holding hands. This idea was inspired by my own research into how different sexualities experience connection with a partner. I eventually began working with texture. I explored how soft or abrasive textures could relay either a positive or negative experience of connection. After experimenting with many different processes, I decided to hone in on using ceramics and textiles and explored how I could create interesting textures in both. I researched artists like June Lee and Joe Dealey, who both create interesting textures in their work using my chosen materials. Eventually, I began to work more conceptually, working towards my final piece. I created small-scale texture samples merging my two mediums, textiles and ceramics. I explored embossing textiles into ceramic, quilting, monoprinting fabric textures onto ceramic with glaze, painting fabrics with emulsion and printing them using ink, casting fabrics in plaster, and stitching different fabrics together and pressing clay into them. All of my small samples using these different processes were to eventually lead to my final piece, a wall installation that the viewer could interact with. I wanted the viewer to touch and feel the different textures in my installation and therefore experience the different experiences of connection for themselves. Here I made some quick drawings of primary images I had taken to reinforce the idea of connection. My sketchbook doesn't show all of my work as I consistently maintained a blog for reflection and worked with 3D pieces throughout my project. All my texture samples eventually became a part of my final piece, which can be viewed in my portfolio. Thank you!